Hi there, and welcome to my Itty Bitty Chapel. My name is Patty Chaffee, and I'm the community minister at Niantic Community Church. I'm also a spiritual director and an expressive arts facilitator. The Itty Bitty Chapel is a few moments offered midweek to relax, refresh, and reflect on a spiritual word or phrase. It's usually filmed in or near a sacred space within my home called the Itty Bitty Chapel, and our candle is lit to remind us of the presence of Spirit within and around us. Our word for reflection today is uncertainty. I spent a lot of years trying to outrun or outsmart vulnerability, writes Brene Brown, by making things certain and definite, black and white, good and bad. My inability to lean into the discomfort of vulnerability limited the fullness of those important experiences that are wrought with uncertainty: love, belonging, trust, joy, and creativity, to name a few. She describes vulnerability as basically uncertainty, risk, and emotional exposure. Yikes. Who wants that, right? Who wants that? Yet without those things that are so hard to live with, we are actually hardly living. When we surrender to the juice of life, regardless of what it is, that's living. Life is meant to be juicy, sometimes messy, sometimes scary, sometimes very uncomfortable. I've played it safe often in my life. It's a comfortable place for me. My favorite place to be, actually. But I find that the older I get, the more inclined I am to want to taste those juicy bits. More willing to put myself out there. Life's too short to play it safe all the time. And then there are times like now, where the uncertainty of life causes, on so many levels, a shared vulnerability. When we are vulnerable and exposed, it's unnerving, it's draining, we get exhausted and need extra pampering and rest. Lots and lots of rest and naps. The uncertainty of the time we're in leaves us in some ways on high alert, doesn't it? We're never quite sure of what tomorrow will bring. We are used to having our expectations met. And yet, if 2020 taught us anything, it's that we can't expect much with any degree of certainty. It has been a tumultuous time, yet also filled with hope. To deal with that uncertainty, finding ways to relax is not only a good idea, but a grounding one, an essential one. And while we are making time to nurture our bodies, minds, and spirits, as people of faith, we must remember that God is always near. In 1 Corinthians 2:9, we read, "What no eye has seen, nor ear heard, nor the human heart conceived, what God has prepared for those who love him." Our God loves us beyond anything we can comprehend. Isn't that amazing? Like mind-blowing? That God could and does love us that much. I always loved the analogy of God's love being like the ocean waves. Unrelenting. You couldn't stop those endless waves from meeting the shore if you tried. It's so vast it cannot be contained. And if your winter season is anything like mine in New England, some sunscreen, a good book, a picnic basket, and my toes in some sunshine-warmed sand sounds pretty good right now. But I digress. Back to uncertainty. It's exhausting. There's no question. And causes us to be vulnerable, putting our carefully protected selves out there in ways we don't usually do. But I think a sensitivity has developed during these COVID times. I think in some ways we are all a bit raw. Whether we want to admit it or not is another story. But who wouldn't be, given what we are going through? I learned recently that a young man my son has worked with for just a few weeks took his own life just last week. And when I heard the news, I just started weeping. I never met the man. My son never spoke of him. I didn't know his story. Except for the heartbreaking news that he took his own life. Leaving a devastated wife behind. It's an emotional time all around for so many reasons. And into the bottomless prayer bowl on my altar he went. There are moments like these, aren't there? I'll bet you've had some, where you just couldn't deal with one more piece of bad news. We have more uncertainty now than ever and are more vulnerable because of it. So we need to take extra good care of ourselves and remember God is our refuge and strength. So, get lots of rest. Take naps. When life feels juicy, embrace it. Even look for it. Look for those juicy bits. Celebrate the joys. Eat your favorite things. Move a little. Make time for play. Lots of play. Reach out to others when it feels right. Be open to healing in different ways. Express yourself. Get creative. Embrace possibilities. Life is fluid. Let it flow. Journal your prayers, joys, cares, and concerns. And remember, even in this time of uncertainty, one thing is for certain: God's unconditional love. There is a link in the description below for Jason Mraz's Love is Still the Answer, if you'd like to hear it. I hope you'll enjoy a few minutes first by the ocean at a place ironically called Paynes Creek in Brewster, Massachusetts. I keep you in prayer every day of this miraculous life. And if this message spoke to you in some way, please feel free to share it with others. And until next time, may God bless you and heal you in every way you need. Namaste.